John Jordan O'Neill, affectionately known as Buck. Buck joined the Monarchs in 1938, where he began a love affair with Kansas City. As Buck would say, he fell in love with Kansas City, and Kansas City loved him back. And it would be an affiliation that he would have with the Monarchs from 1938 through the end of the 1955 season. Buck would later become a player-manager with the Monarchs before leaving to go join the Chicago Cubs as a scout. And as a scout, he signed Hall of Famers Ernie Banks, Lou Brock, and Lee Arthur Smith to their first professional baseball contract. And then Buck himself would break barriers in Major League Baseball by becoming the first African-American coach in Major League Baseball history with the Chicago Cubs in 1962. And he said of his pioneering role, "I was very proud to be the first black coach. But he says, I couldn't stick out my chest because I knew all of these other great black baseball minds from the Negro Leagues who were more than capable of waving a guy home."
Life's too short, you should be getting it. Wanna get in this gut? If you knew better, you would.
Buck O'Neill steps in with a chance to do some damage. And first offering is fouled off. Buck O'Neill is so important to the history of baseball, not just because of his role on the field and in the front office, but because he fought so hard to make sure people remembered the amazing players of the Negro Leagues. And he swings and misses at the initial offering. Buck was one of the leaders in the establishment of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in Kansas City in the early 90s, and he was a pioneer as a scout and a coach when the Cubs hired him in the 50s.
And after he passed away, the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown created a Lifetime Achievement Award and named it after him.
This one in the air, right field. Smith sizing this one up. No trouble here. Puts it away for the out. One up, one down.
Well, on the mound, very efficient, able to produce an outcome, it seems like, within the third or fourth pitch of just about every at-bat.
This one popped up. Murray moving under it. Brings it in, and there's one down. Mason back to work. O'Neill at the plate and takes high there. Ripped to short, snagged on a bounce. Not in time, and the winning run is on to start the inning.
Yeah, that at-bat had a lot riding on it.
2 outs, bases full. Buck O'Neill digging in now. This guy has turned into a beast. In the dirt, blocked. Runners stay put. That's ball one. Buck O'Neill is so important to the history of baseball, not just because of his role on the field and in the front office, but because he fought so hard to make sure people remembered the amazing players of the Negro Leagues. Throw home, he beats it, and it's 1-0.
I'ma find a way even when I'm at the lowest. The storm go away, but the sun's still glowing. Nothing worth it is easy. Nothing easy is worth it.
Buck steps up in a scoring opportunity. And the pitch. And first offering is fouled off. Buck got hooked on baseball early growing up in Sarasota, Florida. His dad worked in a sawmill and played for the company team, and Buck was the bat boy. 0-2 as he waves at that one.
Then his uncle came down and took him to some exhibition games between Rube Foster's Chicago American Giants and the Indianapolis ABCs, and Buck was hooked. He followed the Negro League teams in the black newspapers like the Chicago Defender, the Pittsburgh Courier, and the Amsterdam News.
Taylor fires to second for one, and they turn the double play.
Well, off to a great start. He's really cruising out there on the mound. He's got a chance to get through these first 2 innings with under 20 pitches. That could set him up to go deep into this game.
Slow roller to third. Fires over to first. And he's out. On the ground to second. Might be two. There's one. Over to first. Safe.
Got some good opposite field power. What I like about something being hit to the right side into the outfield is that the base runner at second has a good...
Oh, now this one's high and deep. Way back there.
In my legacy, now tell me, is you with me, chaperone, full time.
When Buck joined the Monarchs in 1938, he became their go-to guy at first base. He was a great first baseman, a tremendous defensive first baseman with line drive power, and was always a great clutch hitter and a natural-born leader of men.
I get hot like a skillet. Think about money in the building.
So two in scoring position with one out. Buck O'Neil digging in now. Right side. Waters picks it up, but it's 1-0 as the run scores. Besides being a great manager, Buck was an excellent player. In 1940, he hit .307 and led the Negro American League in doubles and RBI. On the run, throw to first. They don't come much closer than that. Bang, bang play to end the inning. O'Neil hammers this one deep to left. And that one is off the wall. And into second with one away. That's a double. Buck O'Neil digging in now. Bounce back to the mound. Flips it behind his back. Back to first, and it's over his head. And oh no, it's out of play. Just a terrible throw there. Swing and a ground ball out to short. Zips it to first, and the leadoff man set down in their half of the fifth. Buck was more than just a manager for the Monarchs. He had to make sure the team found new talent all the time. He brought a ton of great players to the Monarchs roster over the years. The why to kick the pitch. On the ground to third. Fires across the diamond. Out number 3. Now it's going to be Buck O'Neil for the 4th time tonight. Right side, hard hit. Tosses to first, 2 down.
And of course, Buck.
Here we go, yo.
Buck O'Neil digging in now. A guy who makes an impact not just at the plate, but also in the field. Popped up right side. And that one gets down, fair ball. And they'll have runners at the corners after a 1-out single.
Didn't exactly square that one up, but sometimes you don't have to. When you pop a ball up like that, you don't expect it to get you a knock too often. But right there, somehow he got it to drop in behind first base, and that's where no one could get to it.
Zips it across. Third out. The pitch. Hard ground ball, base knock.
Went up there looking to be aggressive and got something he could handle. Pretty tough for the infielders to do anything with that one. He pulled it hard into the outfield, and even when you keep it on the ground, it feels great when you hit a missile like that.
Murray on the move. He's got it. There's two away.
If you're a base runner, you got to stay dialed in here. Look for anything in the dirt. Try your best to get into scoring position.
Base hit into right center. Around second, on his way to third. Headed for the plate. He'll score. Back to a one-run game. It's 7-6. Play at the plate, and he's out. He tried for the...
Welcome to the life. James Bond. Different every other night. From the little black boy.
Buck O'Neil had huge hands, but soft hands, great range, and great instinct. As a matter of fact, Buck delighted in letting you know that one season alone he had one error the entire season. If you got it over to Buck, he was going to pick it because he could flat out pick it. All of those attributes helped make him one of the greatest defensive first basemen in Negro Leagues history.
Lately I've been glowed up. Paper finally showed up.
So two down. Buck O'Neil digging in now. This guy, one of the best contact men in the sport as well. Outstanding on the defensive end. Swings through that one. 0-1. Like a lot of other Negro League players, Buck played outside the United States in the winters. He played in Cuba against some of the best in the country, like Martin Digo, Dolph Luque, and Lefty Tiem. Now a dive for the tag, and he gets him. That ends the inning, but 2 runs do score. In the air, out towards left center. McDonald right there to make the grab. Both runners tagging. He's in on the sacrifice fly. It's 5-1. Hit softly on the ground to third. Tosses across to first, and they got him.
And later in life, Buck said something really poignant about how differently he was treated outside the U.S. He said, in Cuba, Mexico, Puerto Rico, I was a baseball player. When I got back home, I was a black baseball player. But he was so positive about his life, he told anyone who asked not to pity him because...
2 outs, bases full. Now here is Buck O'Neil. This guy has turned into a beast. In the air, right field. Smith drops steps, heads back on it. No trouble here, puts it away for the out. And the inning is over. And he swings and misses, and it's 0-1. Like a lot of other Negro League players, Buck played outside the United States in the winters. He played in Cuba against some of the best in the country, like Martin Digo, Dolph Luque, and Lefty Tiem. On a second, they get 1. Little dribbler up along third. They get the force, and the inning is over.
And later in life, Buck said something really poignant about how differently he was treated outside the U.S. He said, in Cuba, Mexico, Puerto Rico, I was a baseball player. When I got back home, I was a black baseball player. But he was so positive about his life, he told anyone who asked not to pity him because he got to play with some of the best players ever.
And that gets down into the gap. The run comes in from second, and now they trail by one. And now the tying run is into scoring position. Buck looking for his second hit today as he steps in. To the left side, but it is well foul. Buck didn't live to see all the ways he'd be honored, sadly. He was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom a few months after he passed in 2006, and he was finally elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2021, along with Bud Fowler, the first known black professional baseball player. And he's up to third safely with 2 gone. So 2 down. Buck O'Neil digging in now. A guy who makes an impact not just at the plate, but also in the field. And a ground ball to first. And that's a fair ball. 1 runs in. And now it gets into the corner. Bradley rounds third, headed for the plate. The relay throw. And he's in safely at third as 3 runs come in.
How about that? Clears the bases. Challenged him with the fastball right in the heart of the zone, and he was clearly ready to jump all over it.
Sharp grounder. That's through for a base hit. Play it home. He's safe. And they lead by 4. The tag, and that's out number 3. Then hey from the house, I'm in Hollywood in a penthouse, baby girl mad that I won't, I don't give on a discount. Funny how I'm eating more than I ever ate.
People often ask Buck O'Neil, what was your greatest day in baseball? And he would just light up like a Christmas tree in remembering Easter Sunday, 1943. The Kansas City Monarchs opened the season against the Memphis Red Sox. Buck would say the first time up he doubled. The second time up, he singled. The third time up, he hit the ball over the left center field fence. The fourth time up, he hit the ball. It looked like it's going over the left center field fence. He's running the bases, saying to himself, hit the fence, hit the fence, hit the fence. The ball does hit the fence. It ricochets between the left fielder and the right fielder. Buck gets to third base. They're waving him home. He could have gotten an inside the park home run, but he stopped because he wanted to hit for the cycle. Well, that evening, the Monarchs' traveling secretary, a guy by the name of William Dismuke, everybody called him Dizzy. Well, Dizzy had invited some young school teachers over to the hotel to have dinner with the ball players. He knocks on Buck's door. He says, Buck, I got some people downstairs I want you to meet. He walks into the restaurant. He says he walks right over to a young lady. He says, my name is Buck O'Neil. What's yours? She was Ora Lee Owens. They were married for 51 years. So he hit for the cycle and met his future wife of 51 years. I'd say that's a pretty good day.
So 2 away with nobody on. Buck O'Neil digging in now. First pitch doesn't find the zone.
Buck had a million stories about his life in baseball. One time he had Ernie Banks playing on the Monarchs in an East-West All-Star game in Chicago.
And a base hit. And that extends the inning.
That pretty much split the zone down the middle, and those are the ones where you got to make them pay. And now they've got some speed on first, so we'll see if they try to get him into motion.
And he swings and misses at the initial offering.
The way Buck told it, in the 9th inning, the commissioner was going to stop the game because they were almost out of balls with Ernie on deck. Buck said, we don't need any more balls. This next kid will end the game. And then Ernie hit a walk-off 3-run homer.
Swing and a ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit. And a base hit knocks in a run.
It's really interesting that Buck O'Neil won his only batting title in 1946 after being discharged from World War II, where he had served in the U.S. Navy's Subic Bay, Philippines. And maybe we owe Uncle Sam for the reason that Buck O'Neil was burning that ball up when he got home. Clearly, Buck was glad to be back on U.S. soil. He had always been a clutch hitter, line drive hitter with great power. But in 1946, he put it all together and actually helped lead the Kansas City Monarchs into the 1946 Negro League World Series.
All I hear is raindrops. I won't race with new top.
Here's Buck O'Neil, who boasts the top batting average in the league. Snap throw to first. Back in safe, really close. That 1946 Monarchs team that Buck led to the Negro American League Championship was just stocked with talent. What a luxury to have a pitching rotation with Satchel Paige, Hilton Smith, and Connie Johnson, all aces in their own right. And that one in the air center field. McDonald makes the catch, and that'll do it. Laced into left. That's a base hit. Lead runner holds up. They're at first and second with nobody out. Turned on, but foul wide of third.
And on top of Buck as batting champion, the lineup had a bunch of strong hitters, including Hank Thompson, Willard Brown, and Ted Strong.
Hilton Smith also hit better than 400 as a pitcher that year. One of the great rosters of the Negro Leagues.
He was all over that one. Just a cookie down the middle. I mean, those are the ones you dream about. Ones in the cage, you're just hoping you get in the ball game. Right down the middle, not a whole lot of velocity, right on top of it.
And first offering is fouled off. And he deals. Up the middle. Nice stop. Flips it from the ground. That's one. To first, save. It's a fielder's choice and an RBI. First offering, and it just misses.
Just missed with a good breaking ball in. Looking for that hitter to chase and perhaps get some weak contact or a swing and miss. Good job on both sides.
And it is 2-1. Two runners in scoring position. Nobody out. Next pitch is outside. Here's a swing and a drive left field, and he knew it.
People would sometimes come up to him and say, well, Buck, it's a shame that you didn't get a chance to play in Major League Baseball after Jackie breaks the color barrier. And Buck would simply look at them and say, oh, I was right on time. Had I been later, I wouldn't have seen Babe Ruth. I wouldn't have played with and against the likes of Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige. And so, no, I was right on time. I played when I was supposed to play. Don't feel sorry for me. Feel sorry for the people who didn't see me play. They're the ones who missed out. Buck O'Neil was the consummate glass half full kind of guy.
The greatest thing in all of my life is loving you.
Loving exactly where he was at that particular time and living life to its very fullest as it was taking place, I think we should all take a page from Buck O'Neil.
Buck O'Neil digs in with the bases full of Monarchs. And the first pitch misses for ball one. Buck O'Neil is a baseball lifer. He was a Cubs scout for more than 40 years, and he helped them sign players like Ernie Banks, Lou Brock, and Lee Smith. And that one gets down, fair ball. One run is in. Now 2 runs score, and they lead by 3.
Ain't seen it. Stop that. Stop it, please. You more concerned what others earn. That says a lot to me. I turned $1 million down 1,000,000 times. That's not a lot to me.
When I met Buck in 1993, one of the first questions that I posed to him was, what motivated you to want to build a Negro Leagues Baseball museum? And his answer was succinct, but very poignant, so that we would be remembered. And that is the quest of this great museum, to make sure that baseball's unsung heroes will never be forgotten, that those who forged a glorious history in the midst of an inglorious time in American history will be remembered. You could make the case that Buck O'Neil was baseball's greatest ambassador. What Buck accomplished over a tremendous 7-decade career as a great player, as a tremendous manager, as a groundbreaking scout and groundbreaking coach in Major League Baseball, and then the work that he did to build the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum makes Buck's career one of the most impactful careers in baseball history. I think you're hard-pressed to tell the story of baseball without including Buck O'Neil.